Hello, I would like to talk about Starfield and its outpost system. So, if we look at Starfield and the outposts as they are in the game, I think that they are a downgrade from what it was in Fallout 4, which, if you've watched anything I've done about or not Starfield, Fallout 4, you'll know that I thought that system was already a little bit lacking. Not like the most lacking thing, but like good foundations, but needed a little bit more work. With the Starfield system, if we look at it, it is not well thought out comparatively to the Fallout 4 one in my mind. This is an outpost that is supposed to be like either a very small outpost or it's supposed to be something where you are building up a community in this area. But it doesn't play like either of those. It plays like something in between that where it's too big of an area for you to make it so that it's like, okay, I'm building this small little thing, but then you build giant landing pads and your inter-system stuff and everything. And I'm just going to go through some of the things I would change in this video that I think Bethesda, if they end up seeing this video, could easily update to make it so that those feel like they give an impact to your gameplay and everything. Let's start with landing pads because I think that's going to be the easiest place to start, and then we can just go on to the next thing after that. So with landing pads, we have three types of landing pad, or four types of landing pads. You have landing pad that's just generic landing pad. You've got landing pad that is customizable ship one, which is a big circle that allows you to build your ship up better, and everything. It is a large landing pad. Then you have the landing pad that like lets you build inter systems. So like you can have a ship that then goes within this system to other planets. And then you have your outer system one that allows you to launch and go to another system outside of this system and get the resources from that to then bring over to yours and vice versa. So you bring resources over to that one. The only one that needs any sort of fuel source is that last one I just talked about. It needs helium-3 to be able to function. That's its input to be able to do its output of going out of the system. I disagree with that. I think if you're going to make a system, if you had it so that your ship needed to be fueled as you go around and you have to buy your fuel and everything, I think that would make perfect sense. But the way the game currently works, I think that that is just an unfortunate thing that's not necessarily needed. Either do it for both of those landing pads and your ship, or do it for none of them, is kind of my philosophy and what I would have done with this. Maybe do it so that you build that inter and outer system one, where part of the cost of that actual landing pad is that helium-3. But what I would have done with those is have it so that you can assign one of your ships from your fleet of ships that you end up accruing throughout the game, and then have it so that you can assign a pilot from the outpost itself. So, as an example, if you've sent someone like Simeon Barkowski from the port side view, starboard view, it's a place in New Atlantis. There's a small bar that you can go to recruit this guy. If you then assign him as a pilot, you'll see him in the pilot seat flying that ship, as well as then you could assign like the ship that your dad as a background, if you have the background of family, he gives you a ship for one of his last things that he won at a poker game. And if you end up with that ship, you can then assign it to the outpost potentially, and then you can see that flying around those systems that you set it up as. If it's inter-system, you'll see it just in that system, and if you end up getting attacked, it can jump in and assist you. Or if you have it as an outer one and it's another system, whatever jump points that could possibly be for that one, you could get assistance from it, or you have a chance of assistance from a ship of yours in that system. I think that would make it so the world feels a lot more alive, as well as it would make the outpost system feel a lot more useful in general, because it's not just about resources then, it's about getting reinforcements as you're fighting with your ships and everything. Another thing that I would do with it is also, if you have it so that that ship gets too damaged, it'll just jump out of the system rather than getting blown up, so you can keep your essential NPC things if you wanted to as Bethesda. Another thing I would do with the outpost system in general, right now it feels like it is not about building a town. It feels like it's more about like we're building a small outpost for just gathering these resources. It's more about the industry or what have you with that rather than anything else. Instead, I would have it so that you have classifications of outposts, because there is outposts about like researching the life on a planet. There are outposts about agriculture. There are outposts about industry, so gathering aluminum or whatever resource. It's usually aluminum for me because I never have enough aluminum, or iron or whatever, what have you. So like getting it so that there are specific types of outposts and you can choose what kind of outpost you want it to be. So have it so it's more focused on the resource side of things, more focused around just transporting stuff, because it would be interesting if I could build an outpost that's straight up just a bunch of landing ports, so you can have this outpost be the one that connects all of the outposts, and it goes between each of those systems, picks up the resources, brings them to the ones that need it, kind of thing. Which then would mean that if you end up getting attacked in that system, you potentially have a lot of reinforcements. So, like, either you could have a specialized outpost, which you can do kind of in the game, but have it be more official, where, like, you get bonuses if you have a specific style of outpost that you're building. So if you've built a certain amount of landing ports and this is the first thing you've done in that settlement, maybe it gives you a bonus in that system for your damage, or it gives you a bonus for your fuel consumption around that area. So like the systems around that make it so that you reduce the amount of fuel usage by like 20%, so you can jump longer amounts in your distances. Or if it's more of a flora fauna thing, well, the whole thing with a research outpost is maybe if you research things in that area, like you have it so that that is your research outpost, potential research projects are reduced for resources that you need when you're in that system, because you're going to need to research lots of projects and everything. That's one way to do it. I think that that is not the best way to do it in general. The way I would more do it is have it so that you can have an outpost upgrade to a settlement, and you can have a certain amount of settlements as well as outposts. So with outposts, you would be able to have the 6 people that you have in an outpost, as well as the 3 robots, I think it is, as well as 6 security gun type stuff. With it being able to be upgraded into a settlement, if you have the full perk list, let's say you can have 32 that are outposts, well, 6 or 8 of those can be upgraded into settlements if you choose to, off of your outposts, and then that allows you to then have more people slotted into your outpost, so it's not just the 6. Maybe you triple that amount, so like your settlement types then can have 18 people with 9 robots and 18 turrets, so it's able to be defendable a lot more, but then it's got a lot more people. And with it becoming a settlement, if you upgrade it that way, maybe people from outside of the systems can then be recruited, and they're just settlers who are like, hey, I'm interested in your place. So then they just join you as a settler rather than anything else. Another thing about the outposts, as well as the housing, that I don't really like is Bethesda does this thing where they kind of remove things that aren't necessary for the player or don't give you purpose for the player. This includes activity spots. So, like, there's dartboards in the game, but you never see anyone playing darts. Why not have that be a mini game where you can just throw darts with friends? Like, it's a thing where you can have your follower play darts with you. But then you can also see settlers or outpost people go to the dartboard and start playing darts. Same thing with a pool table, because I think there's a pool table in the game. Why not have it so that we can have the TV, and if you set up something like a console there, you can see your people playing games on the console. And if you wanted to have it as an Easter egg, you could have them playing something that looks similar to Fallout 4 or looks similar to Skyrim on the TV and do something similar to what Sims does with that, where it's like in The Sims, they play Sims 4 for Sims 3 if you've got the Into the Future pack. And they're like, wow, this game looks so good. And it's really just, they've done that almost every generation. And every time they do it, it's really funny to me and really neat because they have that. You could also have it so that they can set up the TV so that it plays news. So you can have the news coming on. But like just having activities not to do with research stations and things that are for a purpose. Things that are more just fun activities that people would do. Like, I would love something like a mini DLC similar to what they did with Fallout 4 with a few of their Wasteland Workshop and such, where they just add stuff that's fun. Like, I loved how you could make just a Rube Goldberg system in Fallout 4. Why not do something similar with Starfield, where you can make, instead of that, you could have it so that you build shops into your places. So you can build a bar, you can build a clothing store into your more settlement ones rather than your outposts. Or you can build all of your outposts into settlements. It's just you have to earn that by getting all of the people there first, as well as having it so it's set up with certain needs met. And then the wants would be the thing that you gain for your outposts after that. That's just kind of some of my thoughts with the outpost system. I think right now its biggest struggles are being able to build compelling outposts, where it's like, why should I build an outpost? The only thing I build outposts for is to make sure certain areas don't disappear. Like with the communications problems mission, I think that's what it's called, or failure to communicate, that might be the name of it. Failure to communicate with Alban Lopez's farm, that farm disappears for me every single time I do that quest if I leave the system. So I always put an outpost next to it so it doesn't disappear. And that's the only reason I put an outpost down. It's not because I want to have outposts. It's because it's to keep a location still there. That's kind of bad. That means that I'm not engaging with something because I don't find it fun at all. And there's no like big customization that makes it so it's like, this is so compelling, I need to do this. And with a lot of the complaints with Starfield, it's a lack of depth that I think does that. Anyways, that's this video. I hope that you guys enjoyed and discuss what you think about the settlement systems in the comment down below with the outposts. And I hope to see you guys in the next video. Thank you, goodbye.